and welcome to another episode of E-Wheeler Finland. We have a quick test here. This is the style version here in Finland of the Citigo IV electric car. So I will just go through a little bit of the differences again. Mainly the noise, road noise, tire noise, because the tires on this car are significantly lower, as you can see. So there's not a lot of rubber, but based on the short drive here before making this video, it's not as bad the noise level as you might think. But as I said, we will do a short video. Other than that, the car is basically the same. So as far as the motor, battery, everything, charging, it's exactly the same car. The slightly different interior, but it's mainly the same. So there is a gray panel here, but like I already mentioned in the comments of the previous video, this is not as disturbing as the silver one in the petrol version. In the petrol version of the style, this is like matte silver and it's a little bit more prominent, but I kind of like this, and especially the small emblems and the texture change, it's nice. And the upholstery, it's a little bit different on this one, but the main car, like I said, it's exactly the same as the previous one. So there's very little difference. Mainly the tinted glasses, because as you can see it's very mild, but these don't exist in the lower spec version. And this one also doesn't have the variable boot space, which we have coming in our car. I was talking to the dealer today, and apparently our car is still coming in July, if everything goes well, because the Slovakian factory making these cars, it was only shut down for 4 working weeks, and they are at the moment at normal speed working on the cars. So the original estimate of the delivery was supposed to be in May. Now it's early June. So from that, it takes roughly a month for me to get the car. So I'm not expecting it to be July, but apparently if everything goes well, I will still receive our car in July. But now, let's just take a small drive with this one. I will show you the front end also. So as you can see, it's pretty much the same as the cheaper version. So not a lot of difference. I really have to say that I have enormous respect for the dealer, because they are really practicing everything they can as far as social distancing in that dealership. When I booked the test drive, they actually give you an empty table in the store where you can sign the test drive forms and everything. And then they check your driver's license, but they also do that without connecting with you in any way. The cars are totally cleaned and disinfected between all the test drives. All the knobs, door handles, everything, including the key fob of the car, that is disinfected also. So really, I don't feel anyone who goes into that dealership for a test drive that they are taking unnecessary risks concerning the corona. So very respectful business that they are running there. I've never had a bad experience with that dealership before, and this only strengthens my trust to the way that they are handling things. So very good experience in my opinion. about the highway noise of the car. The speed limit here is 120. So, as you can see, with these tires, the road noise is heavily affected by if you drive on bad tarmac. This is really rough. If I go to the side, there's a lot less noise. But still, it's like the tarmac has a lot of difference in the noise level with these tires. A lot less on the 14-inch. So the lower tire height, it clearly has an effect. But not as bad as I thought, to be honest. It's funny how when you're testing an electric car and the car in front of you happens to be a Tesla. Shows you how much electric cars there are on the road. Also in Finland, and we are not like by any means the leading country when it comes to electric cars. But there's still a lot of electric cars. But I have to say that the level of road noise, it's like within tolerable levels, I would say. It's like, of course this is not a quiet car, especially when you compare it to a higher spec car, more expensive cars. But for this price range and this car size on these roads, it's tolerable. And the noise is like, the sound, it's like pleasant. It's not disturbing in any way. Now doing 60 kilometers an hour, and the tarmac is slightly more smooth than previously. And you really can feel the difference. It's like the quality of the road, it has so much more difference in this car than in the cheaper version. Some train tracks now. This is quite steep. I'm surprised it's not as bad as you might think with these tires. I think the suspension on this car is much more on the comfort side as on the petrol version, because with the petrol version, if there is big height differences in the road, like railroad tracks or something, I think it sounds a lot more harsh than this one with the 16-inch wheels. So, makes you really think. While I was driving this car in the city, when you're doing like 50-60 kilometers an hour, the car is actually using only like maybe 7 or 8 kilowatts of power, so it's really frugal. So it doesn't really need that much energy to move at low speeds. But because of the shape of the car, because it's a little bit boxy in the shape, when you're doing bigger speeds, then obviously it has an effect. As a conclusion, I would say that the overall noise level of this car compared to the cheaper version with the 14-inch wheels, it's very, very small. There is of course difference, but mainly if the road surface is not perfect. So if you have good tarmac, there is very little difference. If there is coarse tarmac, if there is rubble, of course the lower tire profile makes a difference then. But overall, my view of this car is very positive. So the noise level is very nice. After trying this, I'm less worried about the 16-inch wheels than I was when I ordered the car. Okay, that was this episode of eWheeler Finland, mainly focusing on the noise differences between the style version and the cheaper Ambition version with different wheels. So let's see you back next time, hopefully. Take care and remember to practice social distancing.